Thank you. Well done, Ethan. A couple questions for you. Number one, if you were gonna, since humans are always going to worship something, as you pointed out, I think that's a good point. As you've considered literature and history, do you think there's ever been a time when we've kind of gotten closer to God's ideal in terms of the society than any other time?
Yeah, before the Enlightenment, I think it was.
So the Enlightenment screwed everything up.
Closer, kind of. Because that's when people started to think that they were higher than God, and that they were smarter and knew what was best for them, other than what God had set for them, and started to think their own ways. So.
Okay. I'm going to ask you some questions here. You guys feel free to give the questions. I'm going to ask you some of your essays. Get ready for that. That's okay. If you were Frodo, how would you react to God today? Would you feel pity, remorse, relief? What would be going through the Ethan Manjuri Rolodex of mind after Gollum descended into the fire of Mount Doom?
I'm supposed to be Frodo.
Well, you're supposed to be Frodo. Yeah. Ethan Manjuri was Frodo. What would you?
Okay. Well,
you got the hair thing.
Playing the character.
But I would feel all three: remorse, pity, and the other one.
Relief.
Relief for Frodo, because he was kind of a nuisance and a stalker, because he was always following me, trying to take the ring from me and destroy me in my life. I would feel remorse because I would know that he did not really have a chance to turn his life around, and the ring was absorbing him, and he didn't get a real chance to fix that. And I feel pity for him because I understood the burden that he had on his life, the temptation that the ring brought, and how hard it was to get over, which really was the cause of his death. So I guess I would feel all three towards Colin, even though he's a nasty.
Okay. I often think that the reading The Lord of the Rings and obviously seeing the movies, when you think of the ring of sin, it helps you to be more compassionate on the world. In my flesh, I'm tempted to judge those who are slaves to their own sin. I mean, I am a slave to my own sin in many cases, right? It's just the way we are. But I hope, as an encouragement, this isn't really a question. I hope as an encouragement that it helps you to empathize with a lost world. If you can identify with your own sin, you too can kind of understand what it's like for God, what it's like for him. You know, you can listen to the answers that you can see. All right, number two, second question. I'm going to have you answer. Okay, I'm going to give you number 6. Discuss the connection between the European Crusades and the Renaissance and exploration periods.
Okay, well, the European Crusades were battles between Christians and Muslims, which caused them to hate each other, so much that if they were traveling or trading with lands past each other, they would be forced by themselves to find another route around the opponent's land to trade or just travel. And so they had to journey around a lot of those areas and create new routes for trade or just regular travel. That's really started the age of exploration, when people, because they discovered so many new things, inspired other people to continue to explore, either for fun or just to avoid dangerous routes or other people's lands they did not necessarily like.
What about the Renaissance?
What do I know?
What's the connection between the Renaissance and the Crusades?
Well, the Renaissance was like really people were just trying to find new stuff. Like it was kind of like a redoing of their entire human culture. Really what they had been doing, they were finding new ways to do it, or new
Number 7. I'm going to force you to think here. Well, I'll force you to argue against something you already posited. Okay, so number 7. What is the Enlightenment? What were Enlightenment thinkers reacting to? And what ways were they correct? And what ways were they incorrect?
Do I have to listen?
You do, yeah. Enlightenment
They were
thinkers
good
weren't
things.
all wrong. They were largely secular humanists, but there were some good positive contributions that were made to the world. And you are reaping benefits when you turn 18 and you vote, right? So that's a positive.
It's a positive.
Right? And black people are actually human beings. A lot of enlightenment thinkers brought that forward.
Black people.
What?
I like black
I know you do. So go ahead and women are biologically inferior to men in terms of intellect. Those are some of the things that we tell that to your mom who runs this joint, right? So
Okay, well, the Enlightenment was really a period of time where man started to think for himself and started to change their laws and their ways and their thoughts throughout history. A lot of the Enlightenment thinkers were wrong because they were going against the church and God's laws, but they were right in that they were using the brain that God had given them to think of different ways they're using it very fluently to, I guess that's the correct vocabulary, but in order to find new ways to do stuff, new ways to explain supernatural things. But I think it also started a bunch of different religions, like atheism, or different versions of Christianity, because that's when people started to really think, why do I think this? Or what am I actually thinking when they were in their religion, or whatever they believed in science. So they were right and wrong in that they were using their brains strongly for the wrong reasons.
okay, so one way to think of it would be, just to kind of paraphrase you, God gave us dominion over the earth, which involves some level of freedom, choosing how best to care for our world. With that freedom comes a great deal of responsibility, and the problem of arguing against institutions like the church and like God-established monarchies is that you run the risk of subverting his authority he's placed over us. But it's not bad to think on one's own feet and to think for oneself. So with freedom comes responsibility. The problem is humans are selfish and sinful, and we generally screw it up. Right? And authority isn't always bad, as a lot of enlightenment thinkers were incorrect about. Okay, alright, I couldn't let you off the hook. Alright, Adrian, I think you did a really good job. You did a pretty good handle on the material. I had to go back and spend some time this summer taking a look at the relationship between the Crusades and the Renaissance.
Yeah.
If that needs a little work.
Yeah.
But overall, I think you did a nice job, and hope it was a good experience for you.
Yeah.
Alright, thank you.